What I'm talking about now is yesterday we got the great news that Catherine, Princess of Wales, is to make her first foreign engagement since falling ill with cancer. So she's going to Italy. So that was a brilliant announcement. All thrilled about that. Almost, minutes later, Instagram, sure as night follows day, there's a picture posted by Meghan of Harry and Archie when he was a baby. To be fair, it's Archie's 7th birthday, but it struck me that this was Meghan using the 7th birthday of her son as a weapon in her publicity war, her ongoing publicity war against Catherine, Princess of Wales. What did you think?
Kate, the Princess of Wales, a woman who spent months battling cancer in silence, had just announced her first foreign engagement since her diagnosis. Italy, a triumphant return. The world exhaled. And then, almost instantly, Meghan Markle's Instagram lit up. Now ask yourself, is this a grieving mother celebrating her child? Or is something else entirely going on inside those gilded gates in Montecito? Because behind the carefully filtered photos and the wellness branding and the fruit spreads and the fashion drops, the picture emerging from inside that household is far darker than anything Meghan's PR team wants you to see. Let's talk about who we're actually dealing with here. Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, former actress, former working royal, current lifestyle brand, depending on which week you check. Her husband, Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, once third in line to the British throne, now increasingly sidelined in his own marriage's narrative. And on the other side of the Atlantic, Catherine, Princess of Wales, beloved, strategic, and currently making one of the most powerful comebacks in modern royal history. The contrast between these two women has never been more stark. And according to royal insiders, Meghan knows it.
Yeah, that's a reach. I mean, it's her son's birthday, and she always posts her children's birthdays on social media. I mean, what stood out to me is that she was like, "Happy 7th birthday, Archie," days after saying it's been the worst 7 years of her life, and thank God astrology has come to save the day. That's really what stood out to me. Yeah, we're going to always get birthday acknowledgments because I do think that Meghan envies the way that the Prince and Princess of Wales, their family, their children are celebrated, but we have more access to their children. It's choreographed. They are highly strategic in the way they share their kids with us. We don't see what's going on live and in person, but we certainly, they go out of their way to share sweet little glimpses of, it was Charlotte's birthday recently, and we got not only a gorgeous photograph of the princess, but we also got a really fun video of how sporty and active and joyful she is. Same with Prince Louis not too long ago. So I think that she shares these images in an attempt to compete with the love that we feel for the Wales children.
Every time the Wales family posts, whether it's a candid video of Princess Charlotte playing sport or a glimpse of Prince Louis being his chaotic self, the internet erupts with genuine warmth. These aren't accidental moments. They are choreographed with precision. And they work. The love the public feels for those children is organic, deep, and real. Meghan's children, Archie and Lilibet, surface typically when there's something to sell. A new product launch, a press tour, a narrative reset. And royal watchers have clocked it every single time.
But we don't have the same relationship with her children. They are bizarre in the way that they only share pictures of them typically when they want something from us, like attention on a new fruit spread that's being launched. But yeah, I don't think she's trying to compete with Catherine here. I think she just knew that a picture, an unseen photo of Harry and Archie would generate some interest.
But here's where the story gets genuinely alarming, because sources are now saying the word nobody expected to hear about Meghan Markle. Spiraling.
As all of her schemes and all of her plans seem to come to nothing, they all seem to fail. Daily Mail reporting that Meghan, behind the gilded gates of Montecito Towers, is, and I quote, spiraling. She's spiraling into crisis. Nothing she does seems to work. They clearly need money. The Australian tour, for whatever they say, the pretend royal tour of Australia, was frankly a disaster. It was a publicity disaster. And the word is she's spiraling into crisis. I don't think things are all that happy there, do you?
Behind the security cameras and the hedgerows of their Montecito estate, reports suggest Meghan is in crisis. The Australian tour, branded by the couple themselves as a blueprint for their new independent royal model, was, by most accounts, a quiet disaster. The speeches were delivered, the photos were taken, but the returns? Negligible. Estimates suggest the entire venture may have netted a few $100,000 between them. Sounds impressive until you factor in that their basic operating costs reportedly sit at $6 million a year. $6 million per year just to keep the lights on. Now stay with me because the financial picture gets worse. And there's a business relationship that ended without anyone officially saying it ended. And that silence, that's the part that should terrify you. Netflix, Lemonada, as ever. 3 major partnerships. 3 arrangements that have quietly, awkwardly, and in some cases mysteriously dissolved. Without public announcements, without formal statements, without closure. Netflix reportedly shifted significantly away from the Sussexes after underwhelming return on investment. Insiders claim Meghan's controlling approach on productions created friction behind the scenes. Yet Netflix publicly still plays nice, still says kind things. Why? What are they protecting? What's in those contracts we haven't seen? And Lemonada, the podcast network, apparently parted ways without ever officially confirming they'd parted ways. Think about that. A company just stops working with you and won't say so out loud. That's not a breakup. That's damage control in slow motion.
For some reason, she gets these companies to allow the separation to happen without formally acknowledging it. Like I was just addressing the Lemonada saga today. I think it's very odd that Lemonada hasn't announced that they are formally no longer working together. But and even Netflix, that relationship has clearly drastically changed, but Netflix won't speak out on it. In fact, they say nice things about her. So I think that she manages to survive somehow. And I wish I had whatever Etsy witch she must hire to stay afloat.
But I think, like a lot of love it a lot. I don't doubt that Harry and Meghan have a loving relationship. I just think it's under strain, like so many other loving relationships, loving marriages, because of the M word, money. Money is at the heart of so many relationship problems for so many couples. I think they've got serious money.
As ever, her lifestyle brand found a home in Soho House, the exclusive members club. Except right in the middle of Meghan's Australian press tour, LA local news was consumed by reports of an alleged sexual assault connected to that very venue. The brand alignment that nobody in her team apparently stress tested. And now, here's the moment nobody saw coming. And this is the detail that changes everything. Royal biographer Christopher Anderson, in his newly released book on Catherine, Princess of Wales, claims that in the 7 days leading up to the Oprah Winfrey interview, Harry and Meghan's nuclear option, the interview that shook the monarchy, Prince William was physically ill with dread, unable to eat, nauseous, retching, and sources suggest with very good reason. Because insiders now claim the Oprah interview wasn't a spontaneous act of self-preservation. They were plotting it as far back as 6 months before they were even married. 6 months before the wedding, the exit interview was already being planned. Let that sit for a second. The fallout from Oprah was supposed to be their liberation. Instead, royal analysts increasingly point to it as the moment the Sussex brand began its long, slow collapse. The racism allegation, never substantiated, never named, fiercely disputed by those closest to the family, cast a shadow that never fully lifted. Not over the palace, over them. So where does this leave them now? Harry, by most accounts, is not the engine of this operation. He is not making the deals, not driving the strategy, not generating the income. It is Meghan, relentless, tenacious, perpetually pivoting, who is keeping this household financially alive. And her next move? The book. Sources say she once quietly told people she would never write about the British royal family. But she also casually mentioned finding her diaries at Frogmore Cottage. She casually noted she never signed an NDA. Those weren't offhand comments. Those were warnings, loaded ones. And the publishing world is listening.
Will she resort to having to write the book? She quietly told people she would never write about the British royal family. Inevitably, I'm confident that she will. She talked about how she discovered her diaries at Frogmore Cottage and she never had to sign an NDA. Those were warning shots. That book will inevitably come to fruition. And maybe that's the last resort.
That's her banker, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot of money in that for her. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm not saying she's going to do it tomorrow, but I am saying she's constantly working so many different angles to the point where I complain about it. Are you an expert in this, or this? But she's a survivor. She's trying to survive. And Harry, in some cases, lucked out because they will never go hungry because of the woman he married. I don't think it's Harry that will ever save the day. I think it's Meghan that is constantly working all of these different angles. And I'm not trying to be flattering or anything. I'm just saying ultimately I think that she's a survivor.
That book, if it comes, could be worth tens of millions. It is her nuclear option, her insurance policy, her last resort, and her biggest asset, all in one. Meanwhile, calls are growing louder in royal circles for the palace to formally strip the Sussex titles, arguing that Meghan's brand associations and endorsement choices actively damage and cheapen the institution.
No, but I mean, while we are being complimentary about what seems to be her work ethic sometimes, I mean, I do think she just wants to be an influencer, which sometimes is just taking a pretty picture and uploading it with the right hashtags, no offense. But I also think that she is willing to, and we've seen her be capable of cheapening the British royal family's brand. And so while we can applaud her all day long for keeping food on the table, I would also stress I do think that the British royal family should remove their titles from them because she does not have very high standards for who she associates with, what she endorses, what she puts a Duchess title or monogram on. And ultimately, it cheapens and weakens the British royal family's brand. And I do think that they need to be cautious about that because Meghan, like I said, desperation will come into play.
Yeah.
And, it's the silly things like Soho House. I mean, I think I told you in the middle of Meghan running around Australia with her friend from Soho House, all of the local news stories in LA were about an alleged sexual assault that happened there. You have to be very cautious about these and guess where you can find, as ever, Soho House. You have to be very cautious about the brands and the people you align yourself with. And while Meghan is going to stay, networking and climbing the social ladder, which is how she secured Harry, she has no standards.
Yeah.
And I think that will negatively affect the royals ultimately.
Yeah.
Queen Elizabeth II spent decades building something. And what would she make of the Duchy of Sussex being used to sell jam? So here's the question. Nobody in Hollywood or the palace wants answered out loud. At what point does survival become sabotage? And who exactly is this all going to destroy first? Drop your thoughts below. Subscribe to Viral Spills, because this story is nowhere near over.